When my eyes opened, I realized that I was surrounded by a dark room. My heart was beating fast as I tried to figure out where I was. I couldn't see anything around me. There was just silence and emptiness. Suddenly, my eyes got used to it, and a silhouette appeared in a corner of the room. While I was trembling with fear, that silhouette was slowly approaching me. Its shape vaguely resembled a human being, but its face and body seemed to have been distorted beyond recognition. He gave the name of the invisible guest. He didn't speak. He just walked around the room in silence. He seemed to be following me, but I couldn't figure out why. It continued in this way for several days. The invisible guest never spoke, but his presence was felt. I was writhing in insomnia and fear. One night, I must have fainted from insomnia, because when I opened my eyes, I found myself in that dark room again. But this time there was a creature with hundreds of eyes in the room. The eyes were watching me, watching me. The invisible guest's actions must have had something to do with this prey. I started running away in fear, but every time I turned a corner I was meeting more eyes. This creature was coming close to catching me, and I was desperate. Finally, all eyes fell on me, and I fell into a dark abyss. Falling into the depths, I began to scream, and with this scream I opened my eyes in the room where the eyes were located. But this time, the place where I woke up was my bed in my real world. I was covered in sweat, my heart was beating fast, and it felt like everything was real. The invisible guest and my terrible journey with him are still on my mind. Was it real, or was it just a nightmare? Perhaps the most frightening thing was that I would never know the answer to this question. The story is set in a town where a boy and his father are prisoners to silence. This town had fallen into silence due to a mysterious illness. The disease was causing people to lose the ability to speak, and the townspeople were becoming increasingly isolated. The story tells about the life of Samuel and Jacob, a father and son. They were both used to living in silence in the town. However, Jacob was burning with the desire to break the silence. One day, he and his father went for a walk in the forest, and Jacob found ancient symbols drawn on top of a stone, as if he had dug something. While trying to figure out the meaning of the symbols, Jacob suddenly heard a sound. This sound, which he heard in the quiet town, attracted him magically. However, the sound led Jacob after him and took him to the forests outside the town, and that this message contained the salvation of the town. The story unfolds as Jacob and his father try to solve the secret of the voice, revealing a dark secret from the town's past. The voice contained the solution of an ancient curse that once caused the town to rule silence. However, the resolution of this curse posed a great danger to the future of the town and its inhabitants. The story begins with William, a man who lives in a small town and does not attract attention. Since childhood, William has had a strange ability. He can see the moment of a person's death. This ability had become a curse for him, but William, who finally used this ability, decided to save people from death. One day, he met Sarah, a seriously ill person who was brought to the town's hospital. Sarah was a young woman, and she was only a few hours away from death. William saw the moment of her death and was determined he would save Sarah's life, but over time, he realized that this decision would have serious consequences. William kidnapped Sarah from the hospital and took her deep into the forest. In the forest, they discovered a mysterious tunnel. This tunnel seemed to have the power to manipulate time. William lured Sarah into this tunnel and she was given the ability to travel through time. This ability, however, led to terrible consequences. Sarah was lost in time, and the town was freed from the influence of time. but the town had now become a place inhabited only by ghosts and echoes. Sarah has turned the fate of the town upside down by changing her own timeline. William, while disappearing into time with her, had to face the town's